everybody, welcome to another edition of A Chapter a Day Keeps the Doctor Away. My name is Alan Mendez, and otherwise known as Hisui, and I'm from ReverseThieves.com as well as the Speakeasy Podcast. And this time I'm looking at UQ Holder, Chapter 20, The Saintess of Steel. And we start off with Kuramaru being like chopped in half, kind of like Bishop crawling along her lower without Kuramaru's lower half, and basically lamenting that the characters failed and that they are neither a man or a woman nor a success, and it's actually a little bit heartbreaking. And then the werewolf is like, whoa ho ho ho, let me just make sure you don't pull a surprise regen, and throws some street signs into poor Kuramaru, pinning the poor defeated half corpse to the ground. And then the werewolf's about to use an ice spell to totally freeze Kuramaru, then even further taking the character out of battle, when our tin pan hatted kid is like, no, I'm not going to run away like you told me to. I'm going to stay and defend you two, and hopefully one of you will get back up and be able to win after I am splattered all over the ground. And that's where that ends. And I gotta say, it's sad when the kid with the tin pan hat is being more of a hero than Kuramaru. Come on, Ken Akamatsu. Why you gotta diss poor Kuramaru that way? But we get to see the real hero, which is Karen. Busts some good shots in on this like really axe crazy dude that's tangling with her in the shower. And I gotta say, this whole thing is really kind of rapey and really kind of like, man, it is a good thing that certain people don't read this comic, because man, there are a lot of things to be said about this, like whole Tumblr posts, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so this guy's like, all right, no more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm gonna use my shadow magic, and I don't use apps. I'm a real wizard. And so he ties her up with these light handcuffs, and we see that he has the nun with her, and he's obviously the guy behind all the puppets. He's using basically shadow puppetry to control them and wreak havoc. And he makes a big deal of when Karen asks, is she dead? There's a little Miss Nun there, who's probably related to one of the Nagima girls. And he's like, I don't know. I don't really particularly care, because I don't monitor these little shadow puppets that well. But it doesn't really matter. And so it turns out that this guy has had a major hard-on for Karen for a while, and has actually been tracking her down since she heard about her legends of being around since like the 1300s. And so apparently she came from Southern Europe, and she was around during the witch hunts, and apparently they tried to put her to death several times, but never stuck. And he's like, see, you are cursed by God to walk the earth. If, I feel like there should have been a good Judas or some other reference there, like the Wandering Jew or something, but that didn't come up. But he does basically mention that she's been wandering the earth since she was cursed by God to be immortal. And it turns out her immortality is anything that would harm her basically just gets undone. Like, basically time traveled back as if it never happened to her, and that's her immortality. And so he's basically just repeatedly stabbing her with this vibro knife while basically being like super licky face on her and being all like, "Ooh, I'm gonna be up on your body, and I'm gonna be like cutting you up while I do naughty things to you," and you're like, "Ugh, ugh." And obviously Karen's had enough of it, so she whips out the fact that she's got holy light powers, and the guy's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I really don't like to use these. They're like kind of like stuff I don't like to talk about, but yeah, I got holy light powers because I'm not cursed by God. I'm loved by God. That's my actual curse. So, yeah, all my powers are love powers." And so she totally uses her light to banish his, you know, umbral, shadow things. And then she busts out some crazy martial arts backed up by, holy light powers. And totally she's like, "So if I kill you, I undo all the shadow things and like cut out like 60% of the mayhem going on in the city. Well, see you in hell, motherfucker." And yeah, totally just schools this guy. And I'm wondering if she actually killed him, if it's not like basically I did enough damage to knock you out, which, um, you know, basically undoes the puppets. Or, I don't know, Karen's pretty hardcore, and this guy's pretty, like, over the top evil, so they might have actually killed him. I mean, no one's gonna be like, "No, rapey shadow guy. I liked his martial arts, I guess." No, they're like, good riddance to bad rubbish. But I'm wondering if they don't want Karen to be a stone cold killer, so they're gonna let him get away. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm actually like, I'm sure the nun is alive. I'm sure the little girl is alive. This guy, Rapey McKnife Shadow, I wonder if he's dead or if he's just knocked out. That is actually the more pressing question in my mind. But now that Karen is free and possibly Magi Nun, or at least the nun is on their side, I'm thinking she'll be the cavalry to come in and undo what's on Toda, especially if she has holy powers. Maybe she can just basically uncross him. So, I'm wondering if it's going to take Karen and Toda to take out the werewolf. And basically, Koromaro can reattach both halves of the character, and then Koromaro will take on the Lion Swordsman. Maybe on a one-on-one battle, Koromaro can, regain some amount of dignity and hopefully use this horrible defeat as a way to become super awesome. But other than that, it seems like, yeah, Karen is the baddest badass of all of them. She's the only one who is easily able to defeat her opponent on her own, even when they got the drop on her in the shower. So, I guess if you're going to root for anybody, root for Karen. Alright, see you guys next week.